Okay, Severance episode 1. Play. What the hell? Pause. So this opening image is very striking. I don't know what's going on. There's a pain in her neck. That must mean she was here for a long time. Who knows how long she's been here? She doesn't, clearly. So that means she was here a while, which is scary. And then there's this intercom in front of her. This is really creepy. There's an intercom in front of her that's speaking to her. This is all very off, very creepy. I mean, I'm immediately wondering, where is she? Who is this voice? And she has the same questions as us, which is good, because a lot of the times as writers, we're constantly thinking about the audience. We're constantly thinking about, okay, what would the audience be wondering in this moment? And one of our techniques is to just put it in the voice of the character. And so it's very obvious she has no idea what's going on. This is very striking. This is cool. Okay, and then as soon as she gets up, the first thing that she does is her knees buckle. Here's what that tells me. She was drugged. She was placed here. She has no recollection of how it all happened, and she's just as surprised herself. And I guess what's really striking is the environment, and then also the tone and color scheme of the show. All of this weird stuff is happening, right? Like, she was drugged, she's clearly been harmed, she has a weird voice asking her questions, and she's clearly scared. She wants to get out of here. But if you think about the environment that should correlate with that type of experience, honestly, she should be in somebody's basement tied up. Like, she should really not be in what looks like a conference room. And it's a very plain conference room. Like, color-wise, she looks very striking against these colors, but she also looks like she fits in, right? The red of her hair, the blue in her clothing. She really stands out in this environment, which is very gray, cold, very plain. And that's the strange dichotomy of this opening, is that the environment is so boring, and yet what she's experiencing is so scary. It actually makes it seem scarier. Also, the way that this show is toned, just in terms of the color scheme, very cold. Okay, now we're looking at this shot of them circling. It actually shows how confined the space is, which is cool because it really is a visual of how trapped she feels right now. Her brain is circling, her mind is spinning. Moving on, there's a lot of really good camera work here. That angle of her talking to the table, it actually makes the table feel like a character. The person on the speaker asks her if she can remember her name, and she can't. And she also doesn't remember where she was born. This is really scary to wake up and not remember anything, but this is clearly for a purpose. The show is establishing the tone very quickly, that it is kind of spooky, it's eerie, and it has to do with memory. What do you remember? What is worth remembering? And now I'm gonna stop right here because the voice behind the speaker has revealed himself. It is this man behind the door. Look at this shot. This shot of him is very scary. The fact that he's not lit at all tells you everything that you need to know about this person. In the show, you can't trust him. You want to stay away from him. That's why she scoots back. But I think what's also very interesting is that this image, so dark, so scary, that it actually makes the internal environment, this office space that she's been in, it actually turned that environment into what feels safer. I've learned about this in screenwriting classes, where it's like, how can you make a scary situation feel safe, or how can you make a safe situation feel scary? And I think they did this beautifully, because this conference room was literally terrifying until that man opened the door, and now inside is safe and out there is dangerous. He says that's a perfect score. So creepy. She's a part of some experiment or something. It is in a corporate setting, and I haven't watched the full pilot, so I don't know how it ends. I'm actually waiting for Severance to finish before I watch all of it, but I wish her well. I really wish her well, because that was a terrifying opening.